On with us. In fact, we have some breaking news coming our way. Now, India and Australia are expected to conclude an agreement on the commercial supply of uranium to support New Delhi's nuclear power generation goals and unveil measures to bolster cooperation in maritime security and defence during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Melbourne. An agreement on the commercial supply of uranium, which will build on the civil nuclear agreement inked by India and Australia in 2014, is also expected to be finalized during this visit. And remember that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has already met his counterpart, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. So Ambassador Singhal, obviously this is something that as we earlier mentioned, both the nations have remained tight-lipped and cautious about, I would rather say. But do you believe that this is something that finally now Australia will be looking at opening up uranium exports, because there have obviously been a lot of concerns regarding its use and everything, but given India's position now, given how India has been handling clean energy, do you think that uranium exports is something that Australia will be willing to discuss now?
Was signed in 2014, and at that time that government was willing. But there was a change in part in the government in Australia, and then some issues came up. But now I think the stage has been set to for this uranium export, because we are also, it's not that we are depending on Australia. That Australia also knows that India is importing uranium from many sources. And they have been, the safeguards have been put in place because there's some concern, which is quite obvious given the sensitivity on the subject. But India has successfully, imported and followed those safeguards. So it gives a lot of confidence to countries who are overly concerned about this issue. And the present dispensation in Australia is keen to strengthen ties with India. And they would like to remove this, I'll call it small irritant in the relationship, which was no fault of India, mind you. It was, domestic politics of Australia which caused this rupture. So I think they will now go over it. And that's why, I think they're not talking much about it, but I see there will be a lot of movement, because the kind of relationship Australia and India is looking to build up. We already have, such a deep cooperation in the field of defense, and we are sharing even the facilities for the Navy on both sides. So given this and the fact that, this uranium, the yellow cake as they call it, is going to be used for peaceful purposes, and India has a very ambitious, I will use the word ambitious at this moment, program for nuclear energy. And the seriousness of India, as I have already mentioned, is shown by the fact that in the last 12 years, we have gone much beyond our commitment, and India is the only country who has taken additional commitments, and we are going to fulfill them ahead of them. So India needs, that shows the intent of India, that the clean energy is the way out, and we are looking at it very seriously. We are not only looking, we are trying to achieve it very successfully, and now we have become the 50%. Energy, clean energies, energy is produced by the clean sources, and import of this uranium will help us in increasing help us in reaching this target. So I see that we are very positive. That's all.
Absolutely, Ambassador. In fact, we have some more breaking news coming our way.